Table in the building. Brendan Nunez and Chris Watkins. Guys, feels like you haven't been on the show in forever, at least not together.
I was here last week.
Right, I said together.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, and then week prior, I think it was only him, actually. So
that's right.
It's been a sec.
I know.
You have some new endeavors
since.
That's right.
It's crazy.
What do you mean?
You just have some new things going on.
Oh, the Locked On?
Yeah.
Look, we are winless. The Giants are winless since I've taken over.
Coincidence?
Locked On Giants.
They're not getting many wins anyways.
If they get swept by the Rays, I might need to, make some tough decisions. So, yeah, but thank you, Brendan, for that. Chris Watkins joins us as well, as Chris is doing the cha-cha slide on the other side, trying to get this.
It's all about presentation.
This video. That's how long it's been. We don't know where the cameras should be. We don't know what's going on.
Wow.
We're losing.
We
the
got
cameras broke because they haven't been used in 2 years. I mean, there's just a lot kind of
the Kings
popping.
roster feels a little bit.
Well, you're leading me right into it. Okay, real quick, where are you guys at with the schedule stuff? Let me ask you this. Let me take a step back. Have either of you attempted to get schedule leaks? Is that in your bag? Because I'm seeing this get posted, and I don't care about Mike Brown's return, right? I mean, cool. I don't care about it right now.
Yeah.
I don't need to know about it right now.
They're cool when they come out. Like, yeah, random drops of, hey, I know about these couple games, and it's no hate. Like, those guys are just doing their job.
Yeah.
I don't really, to your point, I'm definitely not chasing after that. I don't know even where to start with that stuff.
What am I doing? I'm a normal fan, and I see this. Am I writing it down? You're going to see
You
it.
definitely could.
You're going to find out about it.
Could.
The only thing that I think Kyle had mentioned is if you might want to go to that game. Maybe you were a Mike Brown guy.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, or travel. There's tons of, we always think about the local Sacramento people, but
right.
If you
tons
just
of friends
go
from
to
out of
a lot
So
of
knowing
games,
about it now versus 4 days from now.
now there's no difference.
Yeah, no, that's for the love of the game.
The price is going to jump up.
That is love of the game.
Our plane price is going to jump up today at $12.15.
It's like once they know, oh no, the Kings are playing the Atlanta Hawks that day. We're gonna have to. Southwest is gonna have to bump up those prices.
San Antonio to Sacramento flight.
Oh man,
I'm just double check. De'Aaron Fox comes back to Sacramento again.
That's right.
December 13th. So me personally, and I'm big on NFL schedules. I love it, but there's just too many damn games.
No, I only care about the home opener and the season opener. Those are the only two that really have any, because we're going to do the exercise regardless. Like we're going to come back to the next segment.
Oh, we're going to do it.
Is there anything that sticks out? And we're going to, have a 8-game stretch where this is going to make or break the season.
We're going to do it.
We got screwed, or we're really going to find out who this team is. Like,
what was it? Atlanta, Miami, Toronto, or Atlanta, Toronto, Miami.
Guys, we're talking about 5,000 miles in 5 days.
Right.
Yeah.
The one I always thought was funny was people were like, oh no, they're playing the Pelicans 3 times in 8 days. And by the time we got there, the Pelicans were the worst team in the league.
Yeah. 916-339-1140. Let's start here, guys. We did this exercise last week, and I want to run it by both of you. And I even looked at some old articles from late June. It is now somehow we are midway through August. Feels like August started like last week, but we are midway through August from the last buzzer going off for the Thunder, or you could even say for the Sacramento Kings, to now. What are your thoughts on the offseason, what you expected out of the offseason, and how it ended up? I mean, I was joking about people on the text line saying, stop bringing up Dennis Schroeder. Hey, we're going to see what happens, before we knew it was going to be Dennis Schroeder. And I'm not going to lead you in either direction, but there were certain things I think we believed were going to happen that didn't happen. Certain holes or opportunities we thought would pop up and be addressed that maybe did or didn't get addressed. So let's start with you, Brendan, on your expectations for the offseason and where we are at now, as you're going to blink and training camps and be around the corner.
I'll out myself a little bit. I'm pretty sure I was on here saying I'd be really surprised if both DeMar and Zach LaVine were back on this team next year. And obviously that seems like that's what's going to be the case. There's always James Harden got traded a week before training camp or something like that. Like, things can still take place at any point in the offseason, but it seems like it's slowed down enough that feel pretty good about saying Zach and DeMar are going to be on this team going into next season, but that all feels temporary until Scott Perry can rework the top of this roster. And with those limitations, it felt like there wasn't much other flexibility and optionality on how he could approach this offseason with the current roster. And so I feel like the fact that those guys are still here and you're still waiting on that move to happen feels like what we were just talking about for a couple of years with Monty McNair. And I know Scott just inherited this roster, but I think objectively it has to feel like a fairly disappointing offseason, right? Like, you hear the way that everybody's talking about the Dennis Schroeder contract. And I think the fact that it's only something like $4 million guaranteed in that third year really helps the deal. But Dennis Schroeder doesn't make you that much of a better team. I don't think that you're jumping up a tier in the Western Conference. I think the way that you can probably get the most optimism is looking at the draft class. I think Nick Clifford is really encouraging. Heard somebody the other day, I want to say it was a guest that we had on, and for some reason I'm forgetting, compare him to Law Murray yesterday on the Drive Guys, compared him to Josh Hart, and how Josh Hart was a guy that Scott Perry brought over to New York. So I think that's where I could see an optimistic take on this offseason and potential talent evaluation, but it's also super early to do that. It's TBD on how good these guys are going to be. So honestly, I feel like a fairly disappointing offseason because we're still sitting here waiting for Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan to be moved, but that doesn't mean it was the wrong decision necessarily.
Yeah. And it had come up before. If the best thing about your offseason is the draft class and you drafted 26 to start, maybe that offseason didn't go as well as you had hoped. But Chris, what are your thoughts on it?
No, I think not to mention another one of your great guests, but I heard you with Jake on yesterday, and you kind of asked Jake the same question, and his answer was like, what offseason? Like, they haven't done anything. And initially I was like, I don't think that's really fair. But then you do think about it, and especially without the Kuminga stuff happening and without the Russell Westbrook stuff happening, it really is. You had Dennis Schroeder and Dario Saric and some draft picks, and that's really what you're looking at. And, with that being the totality of it right now, I know Domas had those comments yesterday that have people wondering if maybe, like Brendan alluded to, maybe there is like a last minute thing that could happen before training camp. But I just kind of feel like it's underwhelming, right? Like you can't feel like going into the offseason that this was, if you would have said that this is going to be the result, that anyone would have been thrilled with it. And the funny thing is, like, I guess they're marginally a better team than they were at the end of last year. But, I think the draft pick thing is easy to say it wasn't a big deal in hindsight, but they didn't have a first round pick going into the draft, and to add that and then for it to actually be an impact player, like, that's not nothing. Like, they could have A, not had a first round pick, or B, traded up, gotten a first round pick and have that either be a developmental player or somebody who just, we already, maybe have questions about. So I would say that it's not like they've done completely nothing. Neek could be a really big addition, but that is probably your biggest upside swing of the offseason. If you get the Kuminga thing done, if you get the Westbrook thing done independently or together, I think it's a different conversation, but maybe the Westbrook one to a much smaller extent. But I think overall, even with those, it's not the offseason that anyone would have anticipated it being, for sure.
Yeah, and to your point, I don't know that I looked at it as a disappointment, and Jake didn't use the word disappointment. It was just not much has happened. Hey, we need a point guard. Okay, let's go get a point guard. Hey, I kind of want a first-round draft pick, so they went and got a first-round draft pick. I'm not even really sure what I thought was going to happen, though, because the reason I don't want to – there's disappointment, and then there's what we expected Scott Perry to do, right, or to be able to do. I guess you're disappointed, but it really just comes down to – and we talked about this last week, Brendan – the thought process on DeMar DeRozan. I woke up this morning maybe feeling like the same way. I don't know. This is always a scary thought. Yeah,
like, where are we going here?
But the same way we talked about some of the Westbrook move, right? And whether or not the Westbrook move is being pushed by by Scott Perry or by higher powers.
Yep.
Okay, Vivek Ranadive, I hope the power doesn't go off. So that's how this thing started. Then I started wondering, okay, let's use our brains here. Let's use context clues. Kids don't have to do that because of ChatGPT, which we used for about 30 minutes in the 11 o'clock hour. But Scott Perry is on NBA TV saying they don't want to dribble the air out of the basketball. Okay. Scott Perry is talking about how they want to be a defensive first team. Scott Perry is trying to get younger players. All these things. But DeMar DeRozan is your guy, and you kind of, I don't say they barely shopped him, but they definitely could have shopped him more. Are we sure that's Scott Perry's doing? You sat down with him, Brendan. And I'm not, based on what you're willing or not willing to share, just based on.
He didn't tell me the DeMar trade.
No, just tell me, just based on your vibes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't add up. It doesn't really add up.
I think where I see DeMar fitting into what Perry talks about is the thing that I heard him mention most about next season specifically is creating an identity and a culture of what being a Kings player means, right? And there's the on the court aspect of what you're talking about, the sharing the basketball and defensive orientation, but there's also the like intangibles that he lists. And I'm not gonna have all 6, but it's like team oriented, disciplined, accountable, professional. DeMar fits all of these. And that's where I go with the Westbrook logic too. I think we've had this conversation a little bit, like that makes sense to me. That's also ignoring the basketball side of it, where he doesn't fit. And I'm just acknowledging that that's part of this, but it's not like DeMar's a bad basketball player either. And I think that the logic is more so we weren't just trying to dump this guy. We didn't just want to get rid of DeMar DeRozan because that was the goal. The goal was, can we shop this guy to improve our team in a better way, potentially get younger? And obviously they didn't feel like there were any options out there to do that. I think that DeMar's value will continue to go up, but the counter to everybody being like, oh, well, he's going to take touches away from Nick Clifford, from Devin Carter. It's like, well, is it more valuable that he gets to mentor them early in their career, And so again, I'm taking the basketball side out of it, which is the most important piece here. Yeah. Not that DeMar's a bad basketball player, but we've seen a questionable fit. But I think all the identity stuff, which I feel like is what Scott has hammered home the most, specifically for next season, because you're not going to have that basketball identity going into next year, to be honest. You just don't have the roster for it. But you can have that off-court identity. And I feel like DeMar plays into that, and just his presence and his mentorship. And he's also a guy that takes to young players really well throughout his career, could be beneficial to some of these young guys. And that's where I see he fits what Scott's talking about, even if he counters some of the on-court values.
So this is the senior, right? The freshmen are in. We're trying to get the freshman and sophomore on the right track.
Yep.
Let's keep the senior, and he can show them how we want things to be done.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hate this, but I'm going to mention Mind the Game, and LeBron was talking.
It took
Steve Nash, 12 minutes. Steve Nash asked LeBron, like, hey, what do you think about Cooper Flagg? And the thing that Bron pointed out was he's got Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, AD, and Jason Kidd, all Hall of Famers around him. And it's not really about the basketball. I mean, like, maybe that could be our slogan, Sacramento Kings. It's not about the basketball. But like, it's really like, I think the DeMar DeRozan decision specifically, and the Russell Westbrook one, would be, it's not really about the on-court product, because we know that the Kings aren't going to win a championship in next season. I can break that right now. Right. And so you might as well try and cultivate some sort of culture or something that will help you in those years moving forward when those guys aren't going to be on your roster. So hopefully, to Brendan's, I guess, like, this is a Disney sports movie type thing. Like, the idea is Nick Clifford 2-3 years from now can say, DeMar DeRozan showed me every single day, like, what hard work is, what it means to prepare for a game, what it means to truly study a scouting report.
Yeah.
Like,
Domas still talks about Westbrook.
Absolutely. Yeah. Westbrook was his veteran, right? Yeah. Exactly. And so I think that there's just a lot of value that Scott is taking from the off the floor stuff, or to use Brendan's example of Scott's key 6 core principles that he wants from your players. If you fit 5 of them, and the 6th one is, hey, the on the court fit isn't great. Like, right. I think he's willing to kind of find that counterbalance, because the Kings aren't in an immediate win now situation.
Also, like, what's the rush? To your point, the team's not going to be good. Like, good is is all relative, right? Like, I think they will be competitive, have a chance to win on any given night, but it's a tough Western Conference. They're probably a play-in team that we're talking about, and trading away DeMar DeRozan wasn't going to change that in the immediate, in my mind. So I feel like taking a patient approach makes sense in this way, even though I think of Monty McNair every time I say that, because I swear I was preaching that for like 2 years here and he ended up doing nothing.
Yeah. And look, I said this when Scott Perry got hired. I think that Vivek just likes him more than Monty McNair. I just
sure, yeah.
I think
he's a lot more personable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lot better to talk to on a day-to-day basis.
That's who he's got a relationship with him. Apparently, they were still talking throughout this whole time. So maybe Scott Perry feels like he has got a longer leash than what Monty McNair has had. And when they missed the playoffs after the 2020 season, and they went and got DeMar DeRozan, a lot of that was, whether Monty McNair wanted to do it or not is still up for debate. But hey, you need to make the playoffs, and he clearly didn't have, even with winning Exec of the Year, Vivek didn't care about none of that, right? With Scott, maybe this is just a sign that Scott believes that he's going to have time to build this the right way. That's of his belief, and clearly he's been given a reason to believe that. But I guess that's what it signals to me, and that's fine. But even in the short term, and the 530 is chiming in here, the fact that the Kings did not address the power forward position yet again is so disappointing. Yeah, but it is still random. I mean, you're still trotting out a team where Keegan is really, it's just the Keegan show at that power forward position, unless you let Maxime Reynaud in there. And we're talking about a second round pick that hasn't
Dario
played.
Saric,
Isaac Jones, right.
Sure. I mean, they're there, and I think Isaac might be cool, but this is what we're talking about. Okay, one of them might pop, but we're gonna bank on undrafted Isaac Jones. You already got your found money with Keon. Now we're just playing with five. Okay, so no. Now Isaac Jones, let alone a late first round pick. So Neek gonna hit, Maxine gonna hit, Isaac Jones gonna hit. I mean, they're just, and people are still talking about Dylan Cardwell. I mean, come on now, man. It's like
Dylan Cardwell.
Can we be serious for a second?
I mean, yeah, they don't have much internal growth on the team. But I get why people are going to get excited about those little things, because it is just a waiting game with the top of the roster. Like unfortunately, that is where we're at. That I'm going to be hyped when Maxime Reynaud has a 5x5 in Stockton. Like, it's going to be sick.
Yeah.
And that's like things that I feel like I'm going to hold on to a little bit going into next season. And again, like I'm talking about the team like they're going to be horrible, I guess, but I think that they're going to be competitive enough that it's going to be entertaining to watch. They're going to also have these stretches where it's not enjoyable, but that's just part of being a fan, but they're good enough that I think that you tune in any given night and think, hey, they could beat this team.
Agreed.
Which there is value in that. So yeah, take that for what you will. And hey, if you find joy in keeping track on some of the younger players and how they're going to develop, good for you, but don't bet on them.
Yeah,
to your point.
I think the funny thing about the DeMar DeRozan thing, which is true, by the way, is that everything you said about the mentorship and leadership, all true. But this is not a young team per se, right? I mean, you got Sabonis, he's doing his thing. He had over Maxime and Isaac Jones over to his spot in Napa. Zach LaVine has been around, so it is funny how specific it is. No, and then they want to bring in Westbrook. I mean, how many vets do you need? How much leadership where are they leading us to?
I think it's just about building the cult. Like, I think it's just it is the foresight of the future. Like, I mean, Scott Perry's in his first year. You can't hold the son for the sins of the father, right? Like, he is in this position only because he was placed into this position, and he can only do what he can do with the pieces that he has. And I think he is focusing on the youth, which I think is good. But I think I just don't know what are the other paths, like the power forward position. What is the path? Give me a name of somebody they should have gone after. Who are the people
Draper's boy
going after?
Yeah, Draper's boy.
Like, I don't
John
know.
Collins.
Who
Draper's
are the names of the guys that the Kings should have gone after? Okay, John Collins. Who could they have traded for John Collins?
Buyout.
It's more just like, I think everyone has these grand ideas of like what the team could have been, but like you need the actual example to back it up. And I think that's where the DeRozan thing comes into play.
I just don't know how hard they tried, though.
I mean, they're definitely trying.
Everyone knew he was available. Everyone knows Malik Monk is available. Like, I don't think these things are a secret. I think it's just a value proposition. Exactly. Like what Brandon said in the beginning. I think we wanted to trade DeMar DeRozan with the thought that we could get a Jaime Jaquez or a piece that we felt, okay, DeMar is a better player, but there is value in us getting that guy back. Clearly the DeMar DeRozan returns were Terry Rozier and a protected first or something. And it's like, okay, well, we're not just going to give him up for a protected first.
No, I hear you.
I also think DeMar might be the answer at that backup 4. Like the more that I kind of think about it, because
as he ages. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like you play against Denver. He's the one guarding Aaron Gordon. You put him on the slower players.
That looked great. That looked great.
No, it doesn't.
Not ideal.
It doesn't. Aaron Gordon's not a great example because Aaron Gordon's cutting and DeMar is usually not the most keen to that, I guess. But I mean, I think that he's just got a stronger frame to him, a little bit slower at this point. And I just think, sub him out 4 minutes into the game and he's your 4 when he goes back out.
Sure. There. No, it just reminds me of, that commercial, I think it's for Indeed.com, when they say, when they're saying you go into a job interview and they're refusing to tell the person the salary.
Oh, the salary, yeah.
Yeah, it would be a competitive one. Okay, so what does a competitive salary look like? It would be competitive, whatever it is. We're building culture.
Yeah.
Well, what type of culture?
One.
A good one.
Yep.
It's a strong culture.
It is. You know what I thought about in the middle of this conversation hadn't really crossed my mind before is I almost wonder if they feel like they need more veteran leadership, these Westbrooks, DeRozans, because they don't have a very experienced head coach at the helm. And there's the thought of like maybe Scott didn't pick Doug. And maybe so he feels like he needs some other leaders in the room as well. That's not a shade on Woodson. Doug,
Mike Woodson.
Yeah, Mike Woodson counts towards that. I'm just,
Bobby,
connected.
But Bobby was a Doug guy.
Bobby's a Doug guy.
Which
isn't a bad thing.
No. It was a snake draft. They all got an opportunity. Okay, so that's fair enough. And we know, I believe the schedule is out. We are going to do that from a clean slate. Okay, when we do get to the break, we have some time here before we get to the break as well.
The home opener's a doozy.
916 says no mention of Big Dog Drew U.
No.
So we got a whole nickname for
Correct.
this. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. We got somebody riding for Big Dog Drew U.
You think there's a Drew Eubanks muse?
And there's
gotta be.
Oh
gotta
yeah. There's Big Dog Drew U, and then he's got a question mark, exclamation point, question mark, and a $sign. And I pray that $sign is a typo. I pray that's a typo.
I just looked up Drew Eubanks on Basketball Reference. The only nickname they have for him is the Shack of Troutdale.
Does it say Troutdale? Is I'm assuming where he's from.
Yeah,
does it say?
He was not born in Troutville.
Okay.
Or what is it? Troutdale.
Yeah. Is that Anaheim?
916 knows.
I like
that was pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
Big Dog Drew U.
I think we should spend all of next segment talking about Drew Eubanks and what he could bring to the Kings.
Look, if he can shoot the corner 3,
I don't believe he can.
My favorite, actually, my favorite. I don't think he can either.
Why do I know what you're gonna say? Go ahead.
Maybe you do, but one time there was a couple years ago. I think Drew Eubanks was on Phoenix, and Domas played against him. And Domas kind of got worked a little bit in this game.
I want to say that was a preseason game.
Maybe it might have been because I think it was early. And I remember at the next game while they're warming up, an assistant coach being like, "Go at him like he's Eubanks. Go at him like he's Drew."
That's
because
crazy.
He just kind of had a bad game against him. And so I just thought of that right when the signing happened.
916-339-1140. We are minutes away from revealing the Kings schedule. We'll tell you where the peaks are and the valleys. Out in style, Sactown Sports. Man, oh man. All right, guys. You're both looking at the schedule. It's out. Hot coffee.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sactown Sports breaking news.
Hot coffee. The schedule is out. And my 13-7 is looking absolutely cooked. Well done, like how my family likes their steaks. Oh my goodness, they play the Thunder 3 times in the first 15 games. Am I reading this correctly?
You are correct. And they go to Milwaukee, Denver twice. They got Minnesota a couple times.
So here we go. This is how we start out. let's just go through it. And Chris and Brendan, I'm going to throw it to you. You hop in with what sticks out to you as far as national games and all of that. Meanwhile, we are going to break down how the Kings are going to get to 13-7. All right. So it starts off in a good track. They're 3-0. Phoenix, Utah, LA, 3-0. Luka's not ready.
LA Lakers?
That's right. Luka's not ready. He's fighting with Austin Reeves. They both want the ball. 3-0.
Jake LaRavia is going to carry them, though.
3-1 with the Thunder.
Oh, they lose to the champions.
That's right.
Okay.
3-1 with the Thunder. They beat their Spider-Man meme, the Bulls. So they're 4-1.
It's a back-to-back on the road.
They're 4-1.
Okay.
Look, if they don't get that game,
early crash out potential right here.
4-1. Okay. After that, they're going to lose to. Actually, I think they beat Milwaukee and lose to Denver. Okay.
I'm so hyped to do this for 82 games.
So they're 5-30. They're 5-3 at this point. That's correct, right, Kyle?
Yes.
5-3.
Host the Warriors.
Host the Warriors. Warriors, they won't be ready yet. Okay.
Ready for what?
That's right. 6-3.
Who will be ready?
6-3. Oklahoma City, 6-4. Okay. Minnesota, they've owned Minnesota. 7-4.
They literally went 1-3 last year against Minnesota.
7-4. For some odd reason, they have Denver again. I'm not really sure why. 7-5.
The national TV game. That Denver game. First one of the year. NBC.
Starting at 8 p.m. in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I feel like Cam Johnson usually does some work against the Kings.
7-5.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Wow. An 11 p.m. start time on NBC.
They're 7-5. After that, they're going to beat the Hawks, I think.
Oof.
Wait, that is an 8 p.m. game in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
8-5.
So ESPN and NBC are doing triple headers this year. So there's going to be games starting at 2 local time here, and then games starting at 8 o'clock local time.
8-5. After that, they'll probably lose to Minnesota. They're not going to beat them twice. So 8-6. They beat the bum Spurs. 9-6.
That Spurs game starts at 3 o'clock local time. So Alan, we're finally going to get a short show.
9-6. Look, they're gonna beat the Thunder one of these 3 times. So they might be sitting people already. Who knows? 10-6. Okay, they beat the Grizzlies because they stink. 11-6. The Nuggets again. How is this possible?
Okay, let's go. Come on, Alan.
It's all the Nuggets and Thunder. They play the Nuggets and Thunder.
Okay, so what is that?
Times.
I believe 9-9.
No.
Or 10-8.
No. Yeah, Denver gives them 8 losses.
So 10-8. Or sorry, 9-8.
And then they win out Minnesota, Phoenix, Utah.
That is 12-8.
Okay.
All you need is them to go into Milwaukee and win.
That's it.
Which they haven't done since 2013.
And in Golden State to be not ready.
They won't.
In Minnesota.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And they got Kuminga's going to be fighting with them in the locker room.
Oh, I'm sorry. Also, Luka and Reeves fighting each other, so guaranteed win to start the season.
Give me 12-8.
Kuminga's going to change jerseys at halftime.
Give me 12-8, man. 12-8.
So your most optimistic Allen is 12-8.
No, we could get more optimistic.
I mean, we could. There's more fights that could happen, but that's where I'm sitting right now.
Some of the sort of first things I glance at, and it's admittedly sort of like a lot to sort of just digest live reaction, but January, for example, a ridiculous amount of home games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 home games just in January. And that doesn't even count the last week is entirely when they are on the road. The last week of January is actually their East Coast road trip. You got Cleveland, Detroit, New York, and then Philly, Boston back to back. I feel like they get stuck with these back-to-backs on that East Coast road trip a lot. And then you end out with Washington. Hopefully that goes all right. But also All-Star break, the Kings are off the week prior, not off, but they're on the road the week prior. So they're going to have a little bit of a good break. There's 3 days prior to All-Star break and 3 days post All-Star break. We'll get a little break there. Older team will probably appreciate that one. But yeah, January and then March, I would say is the other one where there's just a crazy amount of home games. 10 in January. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in March here as well.
So they get the first 20 games, they get the Thunder 3 times. Okay. They get the Nuggets 3 times.
Yep.
They get Minnesota, twice. The Lakers, the Warriors.
You already said OKC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
This is crazy.
Yeah, during the break, maybe we can figure out that win percentage of like the first, 18, 19 teams or games that they play. I mean, a lot of those, you can't forget like the Lakers were the 3 seed in the West last year. So, I mean, they're playing pretty much all playoff teams the first 19 games of this, or 18 games.
And Utah.
Of the season.
Utah,
yeah.
Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix didn't make it, right.
And that's
so
Chicago.
after the first 2, it's all playoff teams.
And Chicago.
And
Chicago, did they?
They were play in.
Yeah, play in, right.
I mean, yeah, Western Conference, this is just going to be the reality of it too, right? Utah is your
San
bottom
Antonio
feeder.
well,
I guess, San Antonio was not quite last year, but the West is.
But they will be.
It's going to be. It's going to be tough in the West. Obviously, you're going to play this Pacific Division that I think is kind of beat up and in a weird spot right now. But those are going to be. I think all those teams are neck and neck, and then you mentioned, you got OKC. You're thrown in there, Denver, Minnesota. These are all good teams.
This could get
the
ugly.
top 8 of the West is all really competitive, and probably teams that you look at and are like, I don't know, I'm gonna bet on the Kings tonight.
Go ahead.
It could get better in March. I mean, in March, you've got a stretch of Phoenix, New Orleans, Chicago, Indiana, Charlotte. We just got to make it to March.
My issue, not my issue, but why I keep focusing on the first 20 games is I do think that's incredibly important.
Oh, yeah, for
when
sure.
you start chasing, because I'm the guy, I'll overreact to everything. You know that. But yeah, a little bit. 20 games, those first 20, that can really set the tone, guys, and you're going to be chasing already. Yeah. Look, man, I know we were talking about Scott Perry just letting things kind of work themselves out. This brother knew this is gonna work.
Hey, man.
Carl, we're in the tankathon again. This thing is
it's
cooked,
not like
bro.
new teams joined the league, man. This is who they were gonna have to go against.
Hold on, let me run this bad boy again.
He was just holding all his hope on the first 20 games.
Let me run it again, man. I gotta run it.
I
think
think
it's
it's
a
us
solid
here
point,
before.
to be fair.
This is gonna be good odds.
With the third pick.
They get the good boozer.
2026. Come on, man.
They got 4 and 3
Skip
today.
5 spots.
Not bad.
I've ran it a couple times, but
That's what they're starting to. I mean, they probably won't end
the.
the season at 7.
I mean, look, I'm sorry to Kings fans.
That's crazy. You run it a couple times. You say that you
I
run
ran
it
it
like
4
times.
times.
I thought you run it
Today?
1 time a day.
No. This was not the official run. This is a bonus spin.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, we got
casino,
fourth
you get the bonus
earlier.
spin.
Yeah.
Because this thing is cooked, bro. I'm telling you right now.
It's a rough first 20. I
And
mean,
what was it at?
Getting is really tough.
What was it? 35 and a half. All right, we'll do that. We got time to go a little bit deeper here, but 35 and a half, brothers.
Yeah, I mean,
35.
you knew the opponents. I mean, it's not as if that's changed at all. You knew that they were going to have to play everybody in the
but
league.
I didn't
It's
see
just-
it like this.
I mean, I do agree with your philosophy of the first 20 games do have impact. Like, I mean, if you're 6 and help me out, 14 in the first 20 games.
Russell Westbrook's not going to be very happy.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
you're going to have a lot of questions, dysfunction. You're going to have people questioning their role. You're going to have people questioning, hey, like maybe we should lean into more of the youth movement. I think that's where the trade rumors start to happen with
Where
some of
bench
the older
players
guys.
start to be like, I should really be playing over that guy.
It's where you start to see phantom injuries out of nowhere. That's not even phantom injuries, but hey, it might be in our best interest if you miss the next 5 games type thing. Like, I think, those are the difficulties of when you start behind, like it seems like they're going to. I mean, it's just absolutely brutal. Just random quirks here. Like they have the little baseball series. They only have 2 of them at Portland and then against Portland in December. And then Kyle mentioned they play Golden State back-to-back to end the season, games 80 and 81. The other thing that stuck out too, I know Brendan mentioned it, but that road trip in January is absolutely brutal. At Cleveland, at Detroit, at New York, at Philly, at Boston. Now I feel like that's typically, if you're going to do the East Coast, you end up doing the East Coast like that. But
Back-to-back Philly, Boston.
those are 5 of the best teams in the Eastern Conference in Cleveland, Detroit, New York, Philly, and Washington. I mean, we'll see about Philly, but that's an incredibly tough trip. There, and then you end that road trip with Washington. It feels like last year, weren't we in that same exact spot where you end the road trip in Washington And
I want to say they had a good win, maybe like in New York or something.
It was the game before that. Yeah,
they had a good.
Indy.
It seemed like it was going to be a good road trip, and then Washington came in and just
I think it was Charlotte. It was Charlotte, and then Washington.
That's right.
Yep.
And didn't they lose to Washington?
They did lose to Washington. Yes,
yeah,
that was.
This just ruined my.
Hey, there's a Charlotte back to back here. Indiana comes into town.
When is that?
Tyrese is one game in March.
No, it's
so
over
from March.
It's like DeMar is gone by
from March
it's over.
3rd until I think April 3rd. They only play 2 playoff teams from last year.
But it's already.
But
cooked.
that's done at that.
Yeah,
point.
you're chasing.
Yeah, maybe
if
not.
you flip
Maybe
that,
not.
but that's what I'm saying. You flip that.
Yeah.
Chasing it's the belief their souls are going to be crushed immediately. I gotta talk about Doug Chris. My brain is I'm cooked, bro.
No, I mean to your point too, if it is flipped and they have an easy beginning and hard end, like I mean you could make a move at the deadline. Like there's just it's completely changes your order of operation. If you're gonna struggle from the start of the season, I mean, you're gonna have to fill 4 hours every single day.
This is the worst news.
You'll have content, that's for sure.
This is worse than the Spanish cure. This is worse than that, man.
This is the earliest. I don't think I've ever heard you in August declare that the Kings are good.
Nah, man, this is
because he's only been here when the Kings are good.
Where am I gonna find?
I think to counter your early schedule being a hard point and like that just being a tough thing for them. You could argue that, hey, they win some of those games. You get a little bit of self-belief there.
There's the belief.
I don't know that I'm betting on that necessarily, I think having a weak back end of the schedule is beneficial. Like, that's not nothing. You want to be playing your best basketball headed into the postseason.
Or you ruin your pick.
That exists. Or you ruin your pick.
Or you decide, let's not move DeMar because we got
about that.
It softens up. Wow.
You go into next season maybe feeling better. I think, there's a chance. I mean, you play some of the worst teams. There's a good chance by March when you play that Phoenix, New Orleans, Chicago, Indy, Charlotte stretch.
And they're going to lose.
Those guys might be playing, Tajon Salon. Like they might be really, really deep on their bench at that point.
I can't do this.
Tajon Salon versus Devin Carter.
That is the worst news.
We joke now. It is going to be Tajon Salon against Devin Carter.
Well, because we know LaMelo will not be playing.
No,
we will not be playing.
The reverse version of this game is I don't know what they're talking about on Denver sports radio, but I just pulled up the Nuggets schedule and they are definitely like, oh, thank God we have the Kings 3 times in the first 15 games.
So for sure.
Incredible. All right. When we return, let's see how the Kings are going to get to 36 games, man. Take the under. Alan South, Sactown Sports. First segment with the guys. Trying to find our way to 36 wins. As the schedule has been released, and this is something else, guys. Chris, we haven't got your thoughts on it yet.
Alan needs a therapist right now, Chris.
No, seriously though.
What do you want me to help you with? I mean, how can I help you? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, and I'm not going to tell you that this team is going to win 45 games.
And as a kicker, just when we thought this situation couldn't get worse, Amir Coffey just signed a 1-year deal to the Bucks.
Oh, you're joking. I mean,
Amir Coffey.
My goodness. Styles
break.
40.9% from 3.
There's no way. I mean, that's on 2 shots all season.
First Chris Boucher, now this.
Yeah,
my goodness.
Are we trying to win?
Are we
trying to win? Kings got to deal with this, man. They got to deal with this schedule. And now they got to face Amir Coffey. First 20 games. Come on, Chris. What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, I'm right there with you in the first 20 games thing. I think it is really brutal. I think it changes how they're gonna attack the season in general. It's tough to be positive about it. I mean, those first 20 games, we mentioned. I mean, it's an abundance of playoff teams. I think we said there's 3 or 4 of the first 20 games or 18 games aren't against playoff teams. That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. The Kings are already a little bit looking from the outside in. Their only hope is that, they can be a little bit like the Beam team was and come out early and surprise some teams like you kind of listed initially, like you had them starting off pretty well. I think there is the at Phoenix against Utah. Granted, it's 2-0, but starting with one foot in front of the other, I think is absolutely going to be the key to start the season. If you can get some positive momentum, it's still the NBA. Like anything can happen any given night. OKC, you can face them early in the season, and maybe they're still a little bit on a hangover that early. I don't know. I'm just saying there is ways in which it can go better than what we anticipate. And I think in general, with the players and the amount of talent that they have on the roster, they have the capabilities of, like we've said, like every single night being competitive, and who knows, that can lead you to around 40 wins or 40 plus wins. But I just think that, it's even with that being the sky high ceiling, like I think it's the ultimate problem that we walked into the offseason with. And that's, what are we doing here? Right. It's okay. Even if we are living in positive fantasy land, and we'll say the Kings get 45 wins. You mentioned it in the second 2 segments ago, 36-year-old DeMar DeRozan, 36-year-old Russell Westbrook. You have Domantas Sabonis pushing 30. You have all these guys. Like, I don't know exactly what your roster is building towards for next season if you're successful this season. Like it's tough to believe that you would say, okay, hey, we were much better than we were last year. Let's roll this thing back, and Russ and DeMar and all these guys that surprised everybody last year will just like, we'll run it back. Like, there's just no way that's the right path for this team. So I think in a weird way, like, I think everybody already knows it, but I do think losing will lead this team into a direction that they need to go. I think the problem is that they did. I mean, like, it's what we all knew. Like, no, they should have the reason why everyone wanted the Kings to get rid of DeMar wasn't so that they could get better players back. Yeah. It was so that they would suck and lean into a rebuild. And I think that's ultimately what this season, this schedule is leading me to believe, is that they are going to be forced. And it's the problem with all of this. You would like to be handed a rebuild. You would like to rebuild yourself by choice. They are going to be forced into a rebuild.
Which you should have done it during the Aaron trade, but
100%.
I'm dying laughing at just you started by like trying to help Allen, like, oh, this could go okay.
Yeah.
And by the end, you're like, you know what? It's probably good if they lose.
I think I flipped.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think this is the best news.
It is. I'm telling you.
You know where I'm at? I'm gonna show you where I'm at right
for
now.
them to lose.
No,
you're on mock drafts.
Baby.
We're literally going through the stages
Carlos
of grief
Boozer's
in
son.
real time.
Yeah.
Look, give me AJ
Cameron
DeBanza.
Bruiser.
AJ DeBanza, come on down.
There you go.
Darren Peterson, come on down.
Why not?
Babatunde,
love that you call him the good boozer too. That's just so funny.
Babatunde, he reclassified Babatunde. He can come on down.
Oh yeah, the 18-year-old.
Michael Brown, the good boozer. They got him going to New Orleans. Caleb,
is there a story we don't like Carlos Boozer?
No. There's twins. There's twins,
so
and there is a boozer that's a top 5 pick, and there's a boozer that's like going to get picked in the 30s.
This is like Cooper Flag.
Yes, I would compare it more to like a Blake Griffin in a Tyler Griffin situation.
The other one is
twin.
He has an older brother who's like a year
play
or two.
there.
The other boozer's not even on.
I see
here.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
the other one is going to get drafted just probably in after 4 years of college basketball.
Yeah,
it's
the
like
other
Michael,
boozer's
it's
not
the
even
Porter
on.
Juniors. You know,
There you go.
One
loves women, one loves gambling.
Different vices.
AJ DeBanza, 6'9", 210.
There you go.
Someone's gonna tune into the show. Why aren't they talking about the schedule, brother?
We are. Let me tell you, we are.
What you don't know.
Just a random note. So they have 8 national TV games. I'm going to put in air quotes because Peacock counts on that. Just for reference, the Lakers and Warriors both have 34.
Oh my goodness.
Honestly, 8's not a horrible number.
Well, I
Kings,
think it's now considering that there's
Kings.
4 different options to have national television.
That's also true.
Is it also worse that by having 8, it means 4 games this year, you guys are going to have to stay until midnight at Golden One Center because it starts at 8 p.m. local time?
How many games are that late?
8 p.m. is crazy.
There's at least 3.
I
think
got 2 kids. I won't be there. You think I'm gonna be there?
Yeah, I think you're gonna be there.
After they go 3 and 7. I said
there are 4 games that
7.
start at 8 p.m.
And
how many are at home?
Right?
I believe 4.
They're all on
3.
They're all on Tuesdays.
Come on, man.
They're all on
Tuesdays, late night Tuesdays.
Yeah.
Somebody
Tuesday madness.
light my beam on Twitter is trying to make me feel better. At least the end of our season looks rather easy. It's over. No, it's over.
The reality is
Light My
that's
Beam.
when they play the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And
100%.
that's where they're going to be favored, is the bottom portion of the East. The Western Conference, they have 2 teams on any given night that they're probably going to be favored against.
Yep.
Right. Portland and Utah. I don't
Phoenix
know.
maybe, yeah.
Phoenix, maybe. Yeah. They're probably like close to on par with Phoenix in my mind. But there's only 2 teams in their conference that I feel like they should be favored every single night against. And that's why the schedule is just going to be tough.
Look, they are in a situation now where I do not think that they will have to worry about, oh my goodness, we've overperformed. Should we go get somebody else? I don't think the Kings will have to worry about that.
Or
Agreed.
they win some games and it's just an even harsher overreaction.
Or they win some of those games, but they're still 3 games below 500. So then we're just stuck in purgatory
I
of like,
don't
But we
think
beat
so.
the
Feels
Thunder.
most likely.
But we beat the Thunder 2 times.
and we have such an easy end of the season.
No, I'm like seeing my future and I can't do
This is
this.
definitely your future, brother.
This is why I didn't want to see the stupid schedule. This is why I did not want to see the schedule. All I needed to see were the first 20 games. Tell me everything I need to know. That's it. That's it.
What were they? Were they around first in the East when Chicago had their little run for like the first 25, 30 games of
When?
the season? Was Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and Lonzo
What,
Ball.
2 years
and
ago?
Lonzo Ball. Yeah, I'm just saying. They had a crazy start to their season. They were also playing in the Eastern Conference. Their schedule probably didn't look like this.
Oh, you mean the team that won 1 playoff game at the end?
Hey, we're talking about the beginning of the season.
Remember when the
Kyle.
Jazz did that? When was that?
Yeah,
A couple
yeah,
years
yeah.
That was
ago?
the first Markkanen season.
Yeah.
So that was the Beam Team season.
Cameron Boozer.
Is that the good one or the bad one?
That is, I
That's
can't
the
even
good one.
find the bad one.
That's
So what do
a
you
good
think the
one. I
Kings
can't
were
even
last
find
year
the
through
bad
20
one.
games?
Ooh. Well, Mike got fired at 30 or 31.
Yeah, we can do 30 as well.
No, we'll do 20.
Okay.
I would say the Kings, they've never ran too far away from 500.
You're never going to believe this. Guess what the 30th game is? Home against the Pistons.
Oh,
God.
wow.
Oh God.
Doug,
History
don't
will
go.
repeat itself.
Don't go.
First
It's like
20.
Interstellar. Don't do
Yeah,
it.
it's the interstellar beam.
I'm going to
8
say,
and 12.
yeah, I was going to say 8 and 12.
Last season, the first 20 games, they were 9 and 11.
Okay.
That
Some
20th
bad
game
voodoo
was
there.
a loss to Portland, so they could have been 10 and 10 if you go there.
You
They
said it was
also-
Portland
uh,
loss.
So they were 8 and 6 and then slid to 9 and 11.
There's a lot of injuries. Remember, Jay Crowder spot started a game in there.
They won that game.
8 and 6 and
The
then 9
season
to 11.
after Beam Team, through 20 games, they were 12 and 8. A lot of people remember that season being disappointing. 12 and 8, I think a lot of people would take at this point. And then on the Beam Team season itself, through 20 games, they were 11 and 9. So actually a little bit of a later start. I don't know if you remember, they lost their first 4 games that season.
Would you say 12 and 8? Hey, 11 and 9, you could still be a 3 seed.
I don't want that.
No.
I need them to lose the
Okay,
first 20.
okay.
Just set the tone early.
Yeah. I'm down
So
to do
you've
more draft
completely
picks
flipped.
this
Set,
year.
just set the tone. I'm kidding. I don't really want them to lose. But
What
I
is
don't
gonna-
want to be in. It's not
Dennis
that I want them
Schroeder's
to
not
lose.
gonna let
I
that
just don't
happen.
want them to be in purgatory. That's what I don't want.
Knowing the schedule now, I don't want to do the show the day after they lose opening night to Phoenix, because then you're going to be like,
my-
oh, it's over.
No, that can't happen. Or AJ DeBanza.
Or
Yeah. I wonder, how it's going to be with the I guess you could say backloaded easy schedule. Like
That
in,
scares
in
me
terms
too.
of narrative, like there will be some momentum heading into the
Post All-Star
offseason,
break.
into post All-Star, which I think in general is a positive. You know, regardless of, let's say the Kings are 10 games below 500 heading into All-Star break, I do think usually All-Star break is a time to kind of mentally shift as well. Maybe you make that mental shift into more of the, we'll call them the Rico Hines 5 or whatever. I don't know. We got to come up with something for it. But like the
Or you
Devin
made
Carters, those guys, like you have an opportunity there to kind of lean into youth. And if the Kings start not even winning, they can win at the same pace, but it's with younger players. I wonder if maybe emotionally it feels different, because I think that's part of the problem too, is we're going to be out there either winning with vets or losing with vets. I think people would much rather obviously win with young players, or if you're losing with young players, you can at least say there's some sort of
they're learning.
value in it. Like I think the problem emotionally right now with this team is fans feel like, again, what are we doing? What's the purpose of all this? What are we building towards if we're just playing a bunch of guys who are already either in their prime or post prime?
All right, 35 and a half. Over under.
I'll do
Randall.
over. I think it's just a pretty low number. I think we're talking like 38.
No invade 36.
They better go on a run.
I think it's gonna be a late run. That's how it always is.
It is.
Late cover, backdoor cover.
To your point, they're going to just barely miss out on that
Yeah.
coin flip and get Davion Mitchell
come
instead
on,
of
man.
Franz Wagner,
Stop that. Now
man.
you got to go. All right. Chris Watkins, Brendan Nunez. Be sure to follow them on social media. The best digital team out there doing it for Sactown Sports. When we return, let's open up the phone lines. Have you got a chance to look at the schedule? How you feeling about it? Make me feel better or